best friend Tim decided to spend the entire season at his family cabin. They invited a few friends from work and school to join them. As everyone started to arrive, Katie took the lead in organizing activities, and others contributed to creating a list. Katie proposed to Tim, Amber, and Tony that they kick off the night with a campfire, food, and beers, and then gather feedback from the rest of the group. Everyone agreed, and Amber confidently assigned 2 other boys, Hank and Sheldon, to go to the store to get the beers. Meanwhile, Katie asked Tiffany, the newest addition to the group, to accompany her to the store to get the food to ensure her comfort and well-being. While Katie and Tiffany were at the store, Amber, Tim, and Tony stayed behind to set up the bonfire and tables. About an hour later, everyone reconvened with all the ingredients they had been tasked with acquiring. As they all were hanging out and having fun, telling all their wildest of stories and drinking, Tiffany started to hear a strange noise and was starting to get scared. She tried to brush off the noise, just assuming that it was just sounds from animals in the woods that surrounded them. After a few hours, each one of the friends started to hear what sounded like their names one after the other, but only loud enough for each one to hear it. After a few more hours, they decided to call it a night and started to head off to bed. One by one, they all staggered to their assigned beds. As they all slept soundly, a loud thud wakes the whole cabin, knocking everyone out of their bed. They all get up and run to see what the noise is. When they approached the living room quarters, they were approached by Shelley, the friend, forgetting that she would be arriving late. After greeting their friend, the group returns to bed. As they were all hanging out, having fun, telling their wildest stories and enjoying their drinks, Tiffany started to hear a strange noise and became increasingly concerned. She initially tried to dismiss the noise as just sounds from animals in the surrounding woods. However, after a few hours, each of the friends began to hear what sounded like their names being called out, one after the other, but only loud enough for each one to hear. After a few more hours, they all decided to call it a night and headed off to bed. One by one, they all staggered to their assigned beds. As they slept soundly, a loud thud woke the whole cabin, knocking everyone out of their beds. They all quickly got up and ran to see what the noise was. As they approached the living room, they were surprised to see Shelley, the friend they had forgotten, arriving late. After greeting their friend, the group returned to bed. In the morning, as the friends get ready for a day at the lake, Shelley finds an invitation pinned to the outside door. The invitation invites all the friends to a dinner party at a nearby mansion. Shelley takes the invitation to her friends, excited that they got invited to a mansion. As the friends all talked about the invitation and decided to attend a party, they called the number and sent the invitation back to the mansion. They started to get ready for their day. As they walked to the lake, they talk about what they would wear to the dinner party, as they have never had an invite before, let alone stepped foot in a mansion. As the day goes on and the friends spend time swimming and listening to music, Hank notices that Amber is not anywhere near. Hank calls his friends, informing them that Amber is missing. The friends gather up their things and go in search of her. They spend what feels like hours looking for her and decide to head to the cabin, assuming that she might have just gotten tired and gone to talk a name. When they enter the cabin, they find Amber standing in the middle of the living room in what looked to be in a trance-like stances. They approached her, call out to her, but she did not make a sound or ever turn in their direction. Katie puts a hand on Amber's shoulder, and Amber finally comes to and addresses her friends. Amber announced, "Oh, hey guys," then continued with a "What's wrong?" Katie said to Amber, "Did you not hear us calling out to you?" Amber said to Katie, "No, I was just so focused on what I found." Amber points to the dining room. Katie looks to where she is pointing, and as she walks towards the dining room, Katie sees what looks to be a few tall, dark figures. She walks closer and sees that it isn't a fugue, but clothing bags on a stand. Katie calls for the others, who come running in their direction. The friends look to see what Katie and Amber are pointing to and walk towards the bags. Each bag, as they looked, has name tags on them. Their names with instructions to not open until 30 minutes before the time of the dinner party. There was even a note telling them that there would be a car that would arrive to pick them up and a servant to help each one get ready. Each of them confidently takes their assigned clothing bag and heads to their rooms, tells Tim and Tony to go with him. The two playfully tease Sheldon for not being man enough to go on his own. The trio reaches the door and confidently opens it, finding 7 servants standing there. Each of the servants confidently introduces themselves as servants of the mansion and offers to come in and assist them in getting ready. Sheldon confidently escorts the servants to their assigned guests. The servants go into the room, thank Sheldon, and confidently close the door behind them. About 30 minutes go by and there's another confident knock on the front door. A confident voice announces his entry and confidently tells them that it's time to go. Each of the friends confidently comes down the stairs one by one with their servant at their side and confidently climbs into the awaiting car. The car pulls up to the mansion and the chauffeur opens the door. The friends slide out of the car and gather together in front of the mansion door. Once the chauffeur closed the door to the foyer opens up and the friends are escorted in. Once in the mansion, a servant leads the friends to the dining hall. They find their names in their assigned seats and take their place. Once seated, a tall, handsome gentleman with long blonde hair and a full beard takes a seat at the head of the table. The friends all looked at the man in disbelief of the man's beauty. His skin looked so shiny, so smooth that he almost looked majestic, angel-like. Then the servers brought out the first course. The server said, "Tonight's first dish is lamb with steamed mixed vegetables drizzled with a basil goulash." But before we could start eating, the man clinked his glass and stood up and started to speak. The man said, "Good evening, my name is Sir Malcolm and I would like to first say thank you for coming to my home. I'm sure you are all wondering why you have been invited, and I will get to all that very soon. But firstly, I would like to say, Tim, the black suit with the hint of copper was a wonderful pick for you. I knew the softer shade of reddish orange was always your favorite color. Tiffany, your gown is a breathtaking violet color. You've always looked beautiful in that color, Sheldon. You have always been a very strong blue, and the darkest the better has never been a bad choice for you, Hank. You've always liked the flashing thing, quite the vibrant soul you are. Ms. Amber, always the belle of the ball when wearing pink, one thing that I have always loved about you. Tony, you have always shied away from who you have always been. An information most of the people around you don't know, so I wanted to put you in white to reflect your purity. And as for the beloved Katie, I draped you in green, the most royalist of emeralds, as you carry yourself with the most elegance and pose." The friends all look at each other in confusion. "Sir." Malcolm takes his seat and tells them all they may eat. As the friends slowly begin to savor their food, the servers bring out wine and the drinks start to flow. They let go of any doubts or questions. Then the servers remove the first dish and the second course is served. The server places the dish in front of each guest and announces, "The dish in front of you has been handpicked by the master of the house. Each dish is one of your favorite meals. Please enjoy." As they remove the cover, the friends are shocked to find something they have only ever had with someone they have truly loved but who is no longer alive. They have a perplexed look on their faces and fear spreads across a few of them, as it was information that had never been told to anyone, and they wanted to forever remember and cherish that day. Sir Malcolm again announces, "You may eat." The friends complied with the man's request and began to eat with hesitation. Once again, drinks were served, and this time the drinks got stronger. The friends let go of their words